Hello, everyone. You're listening. All right, man. All right, you're listening to the freaking UFO Podcast.
I've been drunk as a skunk for a week.
I just finished grilling up some steaks, so I got this teriyaki smell on me that I can't shake.
I like your smell.
Yeah, no, I mean I can't wait to eat. I'm pretty hungry here.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
But yeah, hello everyone. You're listening to the UFO Podcast with John and Dwayne, and here we are again. Dwayne, how you doing?
I'm fine, brother. How you doing, John?
Doing good. Last time we were talking about, I believe it was music stuff, and well, you have 4 records out. You know, a couple of gold records too.
Yeah.
How many of those are gold?
Well, they only give me a gold based upon if they paid me or not. So I haven't been paid for all the stuff I've made. Let's put it this way. I wound up financing my own albums because that was how I was able to make more money. And it allowed me to stay in the game, and I had more control. And the idea of having more control so I can try and give to people what they really wanted to hear. And that was the most important thing for me. 2 reasons. One, if I don't give them what they want to hear, they're not going to listen to me or buy my product again. The second thing is if I don't give them what they want, they're not going to want me anyway, whether it's free on the street corner at a trash can or not. The thing is I want to make them happy. Music is to share joy. Music is to let people know you care about how they feel and put a smile on their face.
Right.
That's why I chose music.
And you were able to make 4 albums.
Yes, we did 4th.
And you were working on a 5th, but
yes.
Unfortunately your mother fell ill. And that was one of the leading factors of you sort of, getting away from music.
Yeah, my mom came down with basically liver cancer. She happened to have a variation of the disease that was for ethnic people or the Laplanders that came from Scandinavia, the people that have the reindeers, the big fur coats and stuff. That's the Native American. That's the equivalent of the Norwegian or Scandinavian Native American. So they share some traits, and one is they have this form of liver cancer that affects these indigenous type of people.
Yeah.
My mom never recovered properly, and she passed away. And the 5th album, just couldn't get back to it. The heart was kind of gone. So one day I would like to do it again. We'll see.
Right. And after, that those unfortunate circumstances happened, you got into basically back into your roots. You spent a lot of time in the shop with your father.
Mm-hmm.
He was a prototype engineer and had his own company in Inglewood, California.
Yep.
Back in the 50s.
Yep.
And he was able to have his son work in the shop with him.
He never really understood me.
I think a lot of people out there can relate to that. Hang on a second here. Yeah, there's a car accident up the road. Sorry about that. Your father was a prototype designer, engineer, fabricator for the military, a lot of military contracts. He did a couple side things. His real passion was pictures at that moment. True moving pictures, motion pictures.
Right.
And he was able to cross paths with a gentleman by the name of Ansel Adams.
Yeah.
And he designed a tripod, which this photo right behind me showcases Mr. Adams standing next to the tripod and probably the camera body that your father built for him.
Yeah, he built several Speed Graphics type cameras for large frame negative film. And I think he built 4 or 5 for Ansel, Mr. Adams. And it was one of my dad's, in his heart, greatest achievements because he loved photography and he admired Mr. Adams.
Yeah, I've heard you tell the stories. I always believed you. I never questioned that because, your background is in fabrication and developing these one-offs, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta learn. You have to learn that somewhere, and you're really good at designing. And then one day I looked it up. I just typed in.
You didn't believe my big mouth, did you?
Well, you still have one tripod
yes.
from your father's, which Dwayne's camera is actually sitting on that tripod right now. And, it's got the stamps on it, the knob. It's a pretty distinct tripod.
Yeah.
And one day I was looking for more of your dad's tripods, and then I figured, hey, why don't I type in Ansel Adams tripod?
How funny.
And
That's how you found that photo.
Yeah, that's how I found the photo. And that photo is actually showcased in a museum, I think in Wisconsin or something like that. But yeah, I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah. I've never heard that part of it, but thank you for finding that in an archives. My dad would have been very, very proud and happy with you.
Yeah. No, I'm sure he would feel the same about you, man. You know, even though he never understood you.
No, he never did.
Yeah, and he also he built a camera, you were telling me, this was a motion picture camera for Howard Hughes?
Right. Howard Hughes at that time, the standard 35 millimeter motion picture camera was a Mitchell in America. And Mr. Hughes didn't like the features he could or couldn't get. He talked to my dad. My dad says, well, I'll build it for you, but I would probably get it aluminum because it was World War II, and all that kind of stuff. And then there was the Vietnam War. And a lot of alloys were going for war materials. And so Howard Hughes had arranged for Dad to get all the aluminum he wanted to build the camera that Howard Hughes wanted features on. And Dad was designing it, engineering it, and creating it for him. But unfortunately, my dad was murdered before he got to finish it. And the camera's probably laying in a box somewhere in some warehouse.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up mostly to tie in how you went back to your roots when you lost your mother, and you yourself began to, build things of your own.
Yeah.
And you started off with those generator trucks, and those generator trucks paved the way for you to build the first machine that started off as the Rotac, and that was quickly scrapped and named the UFO as we know it today. Well, the
name
original,
was quickly scrapped.
Yeah, quickly scrapped. Yeah. Right.
Whee!
So tell us about how you first got your hands on the machine. This was there was a gig up in Malibu.
Yes, a friend of mine who was an old-time special effects wizard, they called him, and he says, yeah, I'm doing this show. It's up in Malibu. They're doing it at the old MASH location shoot, and it's for a TV show, and they're going to have a flying saucer they want to bring coming up out of the water, the dam, the cistern, whatever. And he says, would you like to go along? I go, yeah, I'd love to. And so they brought out a machine, and it was a crane of sorts. And I got to be there to help out any way they needed. And I was thoroughly entranced by working with these platforms that could raise things up in the air and move them across the landscape. I thought, what if we could do that with a camera?
Yeah, well, let's not get too far ahead here. The gig was they wanted this flying saucer to rise up out of the ground.
Right.
And this was for the show Alan Strange?
The Journeys of Alan Strange.
Journeys of Alan Strange.
Yeah.
Out in Malibu. And that's what sort of helped you find your path on these aerial platform systems.
Right. I realized there was so much that these platforms, as conceived, were capable of. However, the engineering wasn't there, the mechanics wasn't there, the hydraulics hadn't been explored enough to put it in operation. So having that opportunity to be and watch this work allowed me to figure I got to design and build my own crane. Not that I did it, I didn't. We hired one of the top crane designers in the United States. He built and designed cranes for some of the biggest companies in Germany and in America. And so I contracted him he said, what do you really want to do with this thing? And I explained to him, and we actually went out to Malibu, and he looked at it, and he goes, wow, well, I've never done one of these for that before. And I go, can you do it? He goes, how much money do you got? I mean, yeah, wow. And I go, well, what do you want? So we kind of got a little bit of a price hashed out. And he says, I'm retired. I've made all the money I need or want. Yeah, let's get to work on this thing. I know all the state inspectors. I know all the tables, all the ratios, and I like to experiment. So if you're up for experimenting, you come to the right place. So he came up with the design, the engineering, the metallurgy. The machine was, in the end, a new fabrication. And it worked really, really well for many years. And we called it the Rotac. What the hell is a Rotac? Well, we thought it made sense.
Yeah. And, being in prototypes and one-off systems, it gets really costly. So to have a guy, such as the gentleman who helped you out with the state certifications and finding the metallurgy and all that, all the material and it's really difficult to come by, so that sort of, it must have been a blessing to have a guy like that on your side.
It was a blessing, and you got to be a little bit crazy too, because you're going where no fool should go, because you never know where it's going to end, lead to, or will it work? And that's the most important thing. Is it going to work? Is it safe? That's the number one thing. This man was a master. He was, again, one of the most famous crane designers and engineers in the world.
Yeah, and that's how the Rotak came about. ROTAK?
AC.
AC, okay.
Yeah, we didn't keep that name very long.
Yeah, I can.
That's why I can't remember it. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to tell you where the name came from? Or?
Yeah, well, tell us what Rotak stood for.
Oh, rough, operation, terrain, aerial crane. Not too exciting.
Not at all.
Like I said, it sounds kind of like a suppository. You insert before you go to bed at night, wake up in the morning, right?
Yeah, and okay, once you named it that, you started your little business, and you had things, you had business cards made up, Rotak. It was official.
Rotak.
It was Rotak.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're out on a job.
Yeah.
And nobody's calling it the Rotak.
No.
Tell us how the name changed from Rotak to what we know it today.
Well, it was actually named by the crew for the movie, the motion picture Gone in 60 Seconds with Nick Cage, Angelina Jolie. The gaffer was Jeff Morrell, and brilliant guy, and he's just a brilliant gaffer. So here we are up in San Gabriel off Monrovian Boulevard. We got 6 18Ks up on the boom, and we were putting lights out there far enough that other people hadn't seen this before on such a small chassis space.
Right.
Four-wheel drive, four-wheel steering, could travel at 45 miles an hour if you wanted to, although you would trailer it to location. It's just safer. And we had these 6 18Ks up there, these Will Richardson lights, big steel lights, and we had them, and we're moving them behind this giant pine tree. And we were up there for 4 or 5 nights. And any time that Mr. Morrell would say, okay, he never said Rotak. He never said whatever. He'd say, Dwayne or whatever, can you pan to the right? Can you pan left, go up, down, extend, retract? Yes, sir. So after about a half hour, there's people on the production rangers are going, oh my gosh, it looks like there's a UFO up there. And suddenly everybody began to say, a UFO, and Mr. Merrill would say, UFO. And
over the walkie.
Oh, the walkie-talkies, yeah. And I go, well, that's kind of catchy, I like UFOs. I like flying saucers. I like high-tech. So I threw away 1,000 sheets of stationery, 1,000 envelopes, and 5,000 business cards to go, well, that hurt. But we got a real great-sounding name, and it was named by the crew. So it's been UFO Unidentified Filming Operations, which will in time bring us to our merchandise line.
Yeah, I think it was really Hollywood that named it, that coined the UFO logo. Not the logo, but
the name.
The name, yeah. And you changed it to Unidentified Filming Operations.
Yep.
I think that works really nicely. It's almost poetic, too, that
it is.
The industry that it was catered to, because it is, quote-unquote, a crane. Right?
Yeah.
Which I know you're not very fond of that.
Man. Smash.
But it's really the machine was specifically designed to work on a motion picture set,
right?
Not a construction site or putting things on top of buildings. Although it's capable of doing
it can do any
that,
of that,
but it's catered for motion pictures.
Yeah, because everything about the machine, the bearings we used, the hydraulics we used, all the systems, they're to be found to be smooth and precise more than any type of at that time, crane application platform out there.
Yeah, and right now, pictured on the screen, I'm showing the people
cool.
An overhead rig on Gone in 60 Seconds, Kino flow light box.
Yeah.
And there was also, this was out in the port in Long Beach, right?
That would be Gone in 60 Seconds, yeah.
Gone in 60 Seconds, right? Yeah, dude, really cool stuff. Yeah, and yeah, UFO Unidentified Filming Operations.
Want to see what the jacket looks like?
Yeah, Dwayne, why don't you just show the people the jacket.
Here's the jacket.
Dwayne's always had these jackets made up to go out to set on, so the crew of the UFO is more easily identifiable.
So we got him in
which
navy
is kind of
blue,
ironic.
Got him in gray, got him in red, and so we put the person's name on there, John. Did you steal this jacket from the oh my gosh. Anyway, and so we got embroidery, all kinds of embroidery and stuff.
Yeah, show the camera right here. Show the camera right here.
Okay, you got it?
Yeah.
Then we got our own UFO, our own patches called Wind Talkers.
Why don't you throw it on for a little bit?
Okay.
Yeah, so, this first machine ran for quite some time, and it's been all over the world.
Yes,
New Zealand.
New Zealand for Last Samurai with Mr. John Toll and Tom Cruise.
Hawaii.
Yeah,
California.
For Pearl Harbor and for Wind Talkers. UFO.
Yeah.
Oh, and if you want this patch on it.
Why don't you have a seat?
The white is, it glows in the dark.
Scoot over to the left
cool.
a little. There you go.
Okay. And it goes, this should go over here. UFO.
Yeah.
So all these patches have been from different shows I've been involved in some way. So it's been a lot of fun. The jackets are really, really high quality.
Hang on, don't take it off quite yet.
It's getting hot in here.
Yeah, just give me a second.
Okay.
So this is a jacket that Dwayne wanted to showcase for you folks. And if you guys want a jacket like this one to help support Dwayne and his endeavors.
Or a hat.
Yeah, click
which
the link.
is leather.
Click the link down below and hopefully we get a few of those.
They're
off to you
only
people.
$1 million this week only.
They're really comfortable. All right, Dwayne.
All right.
Thanks for showcasing that.
You're very thanks for letting me do it, bro.
Yeah, Last Samurai in New Zealand. Right now I'm showing the people a shot here at night. Looks like, you got a couple, maybe a balloon light. No, maybe like 100K up there.
Is it a light box? Maybe?
No, it's a light.
Okay.
It's a big light.
Oh, it's a big light.
Like a big key light,
Okay.
Yeah, green screen. So this machine was really versatile and, was able to... The main selling point, it's not what you could throw on it. Because you can throw many things on many platforms of machines, right? But the main key point of this, it's mobile based and its ability to pick and carry these loads, these rigs. And once you get it to where you want it to be, it can move. There's 12 axes of movement.
Yeah.
So that further kind of helps you dial things in. And you're not limited to where you want your base. You can cheat things,
You have a latitude of versatility you can't get with a Condor, you can't get with a Great All or a Do-All. And companies are just repurposing stuff that was never built to do this. So in a sense, is it really the right piece of machinery to be on a job site when you're doing things that it was never designed to do? This machine was designed to do these things.
right?
And this is why it's been so successful.
And the first machine was out. I mean, this was back in mid 90s, late 90s. You did things with this machine that back then was completely unheard of.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm going to showcase to the people. Why don't you tell us about
Have I seen this stuff?
the Steadicam?
Oh, geez. Greg Lunsgaard and Jeffrey Kimball, the DP. Yeah.
Yeah, so tell us the story behind this picture right here. So it's a picture, it's in Hawaii for the film Big Bounce.
Yep.
And it's titled Steadicam Operator.
Yeah. So we have one of the stars driving the car, Gary Sinise and Charlie Sheen is there. And what the DP wanted, he wanted to have the sense of freedom of flight, like he's just literally flying through air like it's a bird in the open. This is the opening shot, actually, I believe. And so Mr. Jeffrey Kimball comes up and says, Dwayne, can you get this up in the air there and we can fly him down and bring him down to the ground and don't want to break his legs or nothing, but he's got to go pretty fast, doesn't he? Well, I'm not going to land him at 35 miles an hour, sir, but I will land him at 5 or 3 or 2, whatever you wish. It's okay. So we put Greg Lunsgaard on a rig up there. And Greg, how fast do you want to land? Do you want to be up to your head in gopher holes or get up to speed, So we had it planned out, and we rehearsed a little bit. And sure enough, we flew that thing in and just came down. We barely touched him, began moving his feet, and then hooked him, and he went off running after the Rolls Royce with Charlie Sheen or Gary Sinise. Everybody was great. Jeffrey Kimball had the foresight and vision to even think of doing that. Greg, very, very talented Steadicam operator, and it was great. It was a great show. Everybody loved it.
Yeah, this was during a time where things were a little bit different politically. and you were able to do sort of these on the fly rigs. Of course they did it safely, and
Right.
they complete professionals on set. You need that. You need that. You have that on a location like that.
It's safe to do it with this machine.
Yeah,
And what I know we shouldn't do, we don't ever do.
absolutely. Yeah, we definitely copped out of a few,
We've
requests.
Yeah, we've had a few smirks when they say, you can't do that. We told you that. And sometimes people think they can kind of like make it happen, but it's all about safety. Everybody's got to go home safe at night. That's the most important thing to us.
Definitely. And here we have pictured another photo of the original UFO machine, what was the Rotag,
Oh.
now the UFO, on the Grinch.
Wow, yeah.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about this photo, Dwayne?
Well, Jeff Morrell was a gaffer. Mike Anderson was, I believe, the key grip. Both brilliant men. And we were picking up loads of lights, multi-par-based systems, and moving them wherever the gaffer, Mr. Morrell, wanted them. And everybody was very, very happy. So we became the outside primary lighting platform.
How did it feel being on location? Because this is, I mean, we're talking about the Grinch here. Dr. Seuss is the Grinch. Very, very, he was an offbeat guy.
Yes.
I don't know him personally, of course, but his his books, I've always found them sort of kind of edgy for kid material.
For kids, yeah.
Yeah, but in a good way, and in a very, not flamboyant, but eccentric. So how did it feel being on the location of the live action version of a book?
When we were inside the soundstage, I mean, they could make it snow in there, with artificial flakes and stuff. But seeing the little Who's from Whotown and little cars, beep, beep, running around the streets.
Whoville.
There was you come out of City Hall, you go into the No Harm Alarm Company and the gift shop. It was just like being in another world. It was fabulous. And you rarely ever saw anybody with a bad look on their face. They were just always happy. And then we got to be outside on the back lot and be entrusted, with having a stuntman up there. He'd do twists and rolls, and he'd go down, we'd lower him down the chimney and stuff. That was pretty cool. As people get to know you and your work and your machine and your equipment and realize it's really fail-safes all over the place. It's fun to be part of that operation and to contribute. And it's nice when you're paid to, it's always great. But it's just to contribute. That's the main thing, as any other artist is out there.
Right. Yeah, and I think on this show, or on any show, really, you're able to make almost connections with artists or people who have the same passion, that drive as you do.
Well,
being in a very not artsy industry, but
it's
very
love, passion.
Yeah,
we love it. There's a passion for it. You've been on set with us.
A lot of problem solving involved.
Yes. They come. The first thing is they try and work it out themselves. Then when they say, "What do we use? What do we use? What do we get?" We only got so much time to get this shot. And everybody's got tremendous responsibilities to keep within budget. When they come over to us and say, "Well, can you do this? How would you do this?" So, well, here's one way we might look at it, or what do you want to do? How do you want to do it? And then we try and accommodate them. And with our knowledge and our equipment, we all bring it together and try and give them exactly what they're looking for. And we usually always succeed.
Definitely, yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, it was a pretty machine. I can see why you like rivets and kind of that industrial look.
Well, it's all custom built. I mean, everything on that thing is built from the ground up, It's an amazing machine. We're very grateful to have had it out there like we have.
Yeah, quite the piece. And that machine had quite a run. And I do have videos of that machine running, actually. I'll upload them, and I'll link them down below if you folks want to check it out. I think it was one of you in Hawaii. It was really muddy. It looked pretty bad, but if maybe you might spot yourself. And not you yourself, but maybe some crew members. If you see yourself, give us a shout out and let us know what you think.
Yeah, please. John just made the major point. Anything you'd like to ask us about or comment on, clean, please, is preferable. Never know who's watching it. we'd be very happy to see what we can do to answer your questions, further any kind of finding what you're after, and trying to participate with you as much as possible.
Definitely. Yeah, and you did a film here, When a Stranger Calls. I remember that film. It was with a wrestler. I think his name was Kane. And she's some girls in a house, and she's being attacked by some killer.
We did that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. No. I forget where that was. I thought it was a balloon light for Gone in 60 Seconds, but there was, no, it's not a balloon light. I don't recognize it. And Stranger Calls. Okay. Then a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you also were on the Mission Impossible.
Yes.
Mission Impossible 3, flying for 18Ks. Do you remember anything about being on this show?
Yes, I think that's in downtown LA by the Disney Music Center. And, oh, no, yeah, wait.
Wasn't this down, I think you said, by the Raceway?
Yes, hang on a second.
The AAA Raceway?
AAA Raceway, yeah, off on Cherry Avenue in Ontario, California. And, yeah, we were a lighting platform, and we had just finished coming back from New Zealand with Tom Cruise on Last Samurai, and then we were brought in for that. Mr. Cruise is a pleasure to work for. He's just a professional all the way, and the crew, the people, the talent. Yeah. It's a dream, let me tell you.
And I remember you telling me a story of a gig you had up in Malibu where you had to climb a hill. Here, I'll show you a photo. I'll show the people a photo too. Do you remember this one here?
That was
you're in the backyard.
It was somebody's backyard, yeah.
Well, no, this wasn't Malibu. This was up in the hills, right?
It was up in Toluca Lake, not too far from the Hollywood sign. The DP was Jeffrey Kimball, John Travolta. I think the Hulk was even in it.
But
no, I'm not the Hulk. I'm sorry. He's a wrestler. Dwayne Johnson.
Was this the location where one of the guy that delivered you, he messed up the front lawn? Was it this one?
Well, we didn't do it. We didn't.
No, but a third party did it.
Yeah,
You don't want to get into that.
No.
That's okay. But yeah, man, you guys look like you were really busy.
Yeah, it's been a lot of stuff. We've been very, very, very fortunate and very grateful. And if we could work, with any of these incredible DPs, Jeff Morrell, Len Levine, Jeff Webster, Jeffrey Kimball, John Toll, that would be really cool just to be able to keep working in that latitude.
Yeah, a lot of great guys out there. And, being, again, your background being, with your father being a prototyper. One second here. You also got into building other machines.
Yes.
1 second. Why don't you tell us about the track machine that you built?
The Trackster. Yeah, there was a machine that we put together. We were actually trying to pick up a contract to supply certain vehicles to go down, I think, Rosarito Beach or New Mexico or something for the film called Troy. Don't remember much about it anymore. But I'd flown to Canada. We drove into Canada. We flew into Seattle. And I was interviewing different types of machinery that would lend itself to further application of motion picture production. And we actually went and we bought a track machine, then we put what's called a knuckle boom on them. And they're very popular in Scandinavia and Germany. If you have a truck and you're hauling huge pipes and you want to load them, this arm folds up like this, kind of like a bird's claw. And then you unfold it and it can go out, it can extend, it can rotate and do all kinds of neat stuff. And so we bought one of those machines, tore it all apart, went through it, and then we had our own knuckle boom, and it worked on quite a few motion pictures. And then I got involved with potentially designing and building a new kind of camera car. We're still playing at that, but, lots going on. We just want to make sure we can get it done once we start into it. And, yeah, there's one of the track vehicles there.
Yeah, I had it up on the big screen so that people could see it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think there's actually video of that machine working too, which I'll link down below. All right, Dwayne. Well, I think this was a good, getting our feet wet on UFO material.
Yeah.
I know we've been focusing mostly on things you did overseas, artistic things. Yeah, we'll wrap this one up and we'll put it out there. We'll see what happens.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you all for being here with us and hope to see you again visiting us. Thank you very much.
All right, everyone. Have a good night. And you're listening to the UFO Podcast, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Bye-bye.